Good evening and welcome to 630 Point of View. I'm Chris Berg. As always, thanks so much for joining us. It's our Friday roundtable discussion. Again, a ton of great topics to get to. We're going to start tonight with the 2016 presidential race. Probably start with the GOP side first, move on to the Dems if we have time. And most importantly, we got three outstanding, good-looking guests tonight. I mean, holy cow. Scott Hennon from AM 1100 The Flag is with us.
The least good-looking of the bunch. Yeah.
That's what we put him on the end, right? Bernie Erickson joins us as well, a local realtor and the co-owner of High Plains Reader, John Strand. All three, thank you so much for being here. Last night, an actual debate, a mundane, let's talk some policy debate, no name callings. That was kind of a shocker and maybe even a snoozer at some point. But I want to get to this with a straw poll that came out. Kevin Cramer, Donald Trump wins. Even the recent poll that had the governor's races, Trump wins as well here in North Dakota. I'm going to start with you, Bernie. A lot of people are asking, so what does it say about North Dakota that Donald Trump is winning on the GOP side?
I was a little bit surprised to see those numbers when I looked at it and I dug into it a little bit. I see it was done on Kevin Cramer's personal company website. So obviously he was speaking to a very specific audience that tends to follow him closely. I don't think Trump represents the values of all North Dakota citizens or the majority of our citizens. I personally think he's a little too extreme. So I'm a little suspect of the validity of those numbers.
But even the poll that was from Dakota United, largest union employer here in the state, their poll as well had Trump at 27, Cruz at 19. So a couple polls showing that people are behind Trump. Your thoughts, Scott?
First of all, Congressman Cramer had a statewide straw poll for over a month. 4,000 people voted, so it's not a small thing. And I mean, we talked about it every week in his talk radio town hall. It was widely promoted. So I think it's pretty good sampling. And I think the Trump thing is real. I think it's obviously, I mean, there's just way too many examples of the Trump train rolling, not to say that something is real there. And that debate was very different. I have a little debate fatigue. I was like, I can't take another one. I watched it and I thought, wow, finally, substance, and some civility, thank you. And some good ideas, and it was a good exchange. So I think the air of inevitability is setting in on Donald Trump being the Republican.
But I want to get to about North Dakotans and Bernie saying, hey, he doesn't feel like Trump aligns with North Dakota values. Do you disagree or agree with that?
Oh, I don't know. I think Republicans, is who we're talking about, right? We're talking about Republicans, who they want their nominee to be, want change. They want revolutionary change. They're upset at the way things have gone. Who's the one revolutionary in the race? It's Donald Trump. And so it doesn't surprise me that he's in the majority. Now, last go around, Mitt Romney was the leader nationwide, and North Dakota said, no, we want Rick Santorum. So they went a little bit. They went a little bit different. And there were earlier polls that had, I don't know if it was a poll or somebody's online stuff, that Cruz was up there, Rubio was doing okay. But I think the timing on the Cramer poll is matching with where everybody else is coalescing to.
John, I want to get your thoughts on a little bit different arena. Anderson Cooper was interviewing Trump, I think the night before the debate. Trump said that Islam hates the West. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't know that I agree or disagree, but I do know this back to North Dakota, and I'll go back home to where I do understand. I'm from North Dakota. Those of us from North Dakota aren't surprised where North Dakotans are leaning. Number one, they like to be with the winner. Number two, they're anti-establishment right now. And what I do like about Trump is his views on Russia. And I think if we're anti-Islam, we could probably do more successfully aligning with Russia. If that's an agenda item that we want to address, is ISIS and activities in that regard, I think we'd do better as partners there. But I'm not surprised that Trump is prevailing in North Dakota at all. I'm not surprised at all.
So what's the partnership you see with Russia?
Well, I like Putin more than many people want to, and Trump likes Putin more than many people would like him to. And I think that if ISIS is an enemy that we have in common, and that we share that issue, we'd get more done in that regard together than we would by fighting each other and letting ISIS continue to prevail in the ways they are.
A couple interesting things I want to know, and I'm going to get some polls here in a moment, but obviously Trump won Michigan, I think it was this week, they're all kind of runs together for me now. But anyways, what was fascinating about Michigan is you look at what he said about, hey, we're not going to have any more Muslims coming into the country for a little while. Trump actually won the city of Dearborn, Michigan, which has the highest American Arab population per capita in the entire country. Very Muslim population there, and yet they said, yeah, we want this guy to be our president. Interesting piece. Obviously, I think anybody you talk to on the GOP side is going to say, look, I don't care which one of these final four people end up getting the nominee. The most important thing is that they actually go out there and they beat Hillary Clinton. I think we all would agree with that, right, Scott?
Well, that's why you got to look at these. You got to look at what's happened to this point. You have incredible increases in turnout, right? You have 66, I think, is the average. The last number I saw of all the states so far that voted, increases in voters, Republicans over last time. The Democrats, meanwhile, are down 33%. So the energy's on the Republican side. I don't think they're coming out for John Kasich. I like John Kasich, but I don't think they're coming out for him. I think they are coming out for Donald Trump. So that's how you beat Hillary Clinton. You get people energized and get them out.
But here's what's fascinating. I want to share with you. These are some polls, and Trump will go out there and again he says, oh, I can beat Hillary Clinton, but the actual polls do not show that. This is the most recent NBC News Wall Street Journal poll. If we can bring this up, please. But it's got Trump versus Clinton. Clinton ends up beating Trump by 13 points. Cruz versus Clinton. This is in a general now. Clinton wins by 2, and Rubio versus Clinton. Rubio actually ties Clinton at 46-46. There's another ABC News poll that shows Clinton beating Trump by 9. So you just said, hey, they're coming out for Trump, but these polls are not showing that he can end up winning the general.
A poll today of who wins the presidential election in November is meaningless. It's good fodder for people to talk about, on political websites and chew up and what does it mean and everything else. It means nothing. I mean, if Trump was winning by 20, would that mean Trump's going to win? No. We got a whole race. I mean, a million things can happen between now and November. So I think it's too early for that kind of talk.
I need to interject here, too, that we have Trump as an anti-establishment candidate. Bernie Sanders is an anti-establishment candidate. Hillary is establishment. And that will come into play more than people, I think, expect also, is that there will be what will carry and forward Trump in his race will also carry Bernie more forward in his case, that he's sick up and fed with it all, too.
Well, and I think they've got to be. And Bernie, I'm going to go to you for the last word here in a second. But I mean, you look at Bernie Sanders, he's won 8 states. Hillary's won 12, but she's up by like a 2-to-1 margin. And delegates, when you include the superdelegates, and I got to imagine that the people that are out working for Bernie are going nuts, going, hey, we're out here working, hustling. He wants to change things, but my candidate's down because of this rigged system. One last thing I want to share with you as well, and again, I know this is a moment in time, but NBC News, Wall Street Journal poll, Trump versus Sanders. This one shocked me. Had Sanders up by 18. Bernie, are you feeling the burn or are you feeling Hillary?
No, I'm feeling Hillary.
Okay, so your thoughts quickly on that.
And one of the strongest advocates for Bernie in North Dakota is Scott's sister. he's got a winning secret weapon going there.
Bernie,
and she's doing a great job.
Erickson, I'm giving you the last word of this one.
2 things. The Republican turnout numbers. I think the biggest learning telling there is that the Republican base is livid with the Republican leadership, and we will vote for anybody rather than someone in their party. That's a big learning there, and I think that's coming through loud and clear. Secondly, I think if they could have indicted Hillary and put her in jail a long time ago, that would have happened. Got to get over that. That's not going to happen. I think she's going to be the nominee, and she's going to be our next president.
I was stunned that Jorge Ramos asked her in the debate, hey, if you were indicted, will you drop out of the race? I'm not even going to answer that question. It reminded me of the, what does it matter at this point, And boy. All right, lots more to obviously talk about there. When we come back, John Strand wrote an op-ed piece about the North Dakota gubernatorial race. We'll discuss that and much, much more right after this. Always love to know your thoughts. Can Trump win the general election? According to those polls, no. Would love to hear what you have to say. We'll be right back.